could you please start with a self-introduction about your life and your time in Nuremberg?
Certainly. My name is Bob Potter. I came from Chicago, Illinois, USA. At the age of 18, I joined the Army and was sent to Nuremberg. During my 3-year time in the Army, I met a lovely Nurembergerine by the name of Gertie, and she went back to the States with me, married. We lived 18 years. She unfortunately passed away in 1984. I am remarried to a wonderful American girl, but I've always wondered how life might have been if we had stayed in Germany after we got married, that is with my German wife. I'm back here to talk to former American soldiers who married German girls and did stay here. Perhaps their stories will help me understand my own life a little better.
My name is Tom Spahr. I was born in Chehalis, Washington, United States of America, in 1951, February 5th. In December of 1970, I received a letter from our then President Nixon inviting me to come into the United States Army. I was drafted in January of 1971. I spent 2 months in basic training at Fort Lewis, which was close to home, but I could have been 5,000 miles away. It didn't matter because you couldn't get off post. So 2 months in basic training followed that with 2 months in advanced individual training in Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where I became a surveyor, an artillery surveyor, to surveying gun placements and so forth for the cannons. After AIT, we at that time didn't know if we were going to go to Vietnam or Germany. The chances were 50-50. So when the orders came through, if you were directed to San Francisco, you were going to Vietnam. If you were directed to New Jersey, you were going to Europe. My orders came through and I saw New Jersey. So therefore, I did not follow two brothers that went to Vietnam and served, one in the Army, one in the Air Force. So after a 17-day leave, I took a flight to Frankfurt and then into Stuttgart for my first night in Germany. We hadn't gotten the orders yet to where we were going to go, but in Stuttgart, 2 days later, I found out I was going to Nuremberg to be assigned to the 3rd of the Headquarters Battery, 3rd of the 17th Field Artillery, where I served for a year and a half. As a draftee, your commitment is two years. So I served as a surveyor and had a great time in Nuremberg, enjoyed my stay, and was able to travel around. I did not meet a Fräulein because I had a girlfriend at home that I thought would be my wife when I returned, but that did not happen, and good things came of it. I now have a beautiful wife, a boy Teddy, and my daughter Emily, who has accompanied me to Europe for this trip. So we're very happy to be here.
You both are now for a couple of days in Nuremberg. Which major changes in the city have you noticed compared to the times when you were stationed here?
Well, my years of service were 1963 to 1966. That was a time when Germany was still recovering from the bad times after the war. It had come a long way, but I notice now that the streets are full of beautiful shops. The people are dressed wonderfully, so the economy is booming. It's prosperous. One thing is that Königstrasse is now a pedestrian way. It had this Straßenbahn going down the center of it when I was here. Another major change is the U-Bahn. There was no U-Bahn when I was here. Of course, there's a change that there are no GIs stationed here. That's a major change. A lot of other people are here that weren't here before.
Well, that is a lot of. I was here 5 years after Bob. I arrived in '71, so that would be 6 years. The changes that I have seen since that time to today is, well, obviously Merrell Barracks is not the building that I thought that I inhabited back in that time. The parade ground is all gone, but many of the sights and sounds that I experienced in '71 and '72 are still here. The city was a lovely place then. It's a lovely place now. It seems that there are a lot more tourists in Nuremberg now than back in the '70s and '71, '72. Maybe that's because people have more disposable income. But we've seen so many nice people while we've been here. People have been friendly, courteous. Sometimes when I say I'm an American, I feel somewhat embarrassed, but people are very friendly about that and will help out and help you out. And this afternoon I was at, my daughter and I were having lunch, and the lady that waited on us cracked a joke when I gave her my credit card, and I says, would you like my credit card? And she says, yeah, thank you. Like I was going to give it to her. But we had a very nice laugh over that after lunch. People are great here, and that's kind of what I see and appreciate back then and today.
Now it's 2017, and we had America and Germany had easier times than right now. What do you think today unites us as nations, and what divides us?
Well, we clearly have a mutual interest in maintaining the environment. At least we should. We have a mutual interest in containing terrorism. We have a mutual interest in promoting economic well-being, trade. We have mutual interest in maintaining world peace vis-a-vis the former Soviet Union, Russia, other countries that might have an interest in aggression. So yeah, I think we have a lot that we really need to do together and to keep doing together.
That is a tough question. What divides us is I think the ideology of some people, in Europe is different than America, and I'm of a person that we need to live and let live. We need to get along, and I think there are a lot of Germans that feel the same way. But there are troubles with the terrorism aspect that we in this entire world are experiencing, and it needs to be addressed. And as two nations, Germany, probably the most important in the European theater, and America to fight this terrorism thing that we have going worldwide. I would like to see our nations join together and battle that in a cohesive way to end it, hopefully.
What you said right now was already a part of my last question. What are your hopes? How should the relationship between America and Germany develop in the future? There were several crises. Now we are in a time more or less of a crisis in the relationship. What are your hopes? How the relation should develop? What will be the role of the United States and Germany, and how are they supposed to cooperate in the future? You talked about several aspects already, but looking back at your time when you were here stationed, now the present, how should the future look?
Well, I believe that we Americans need to broaden our outlook and learn from other countries. There was a recent documentary by Michael Moore in which he traveled across the ocean to Italy, Germany, France, the Netherlands, and he borrowed certain practices and asked if he could steal them for the United States. The fellows I've talked to this week, former GIs who now live here, have a broad outlook on the world that is missing. Where I live now in rural Wisconsin, there's a very provincial outlook. Many people have never been outside of their own state. They have no idea what's going on in the rest of the world. And I think we need that communication, we need that education, so that we can work together, we can for our mutual benefit. I'm sure there are some things that the United States does that European countries emulate, and I would like to see a little more coming the other way, that Americans would be willing to look at and borrow some of the good things that people in other countries have.
Our two nations have leaders that have a specific job, and their job is to protect their citizens. And one of the aspects of protecting their citizens is making our countries safe. The leaders in America and the leaders in Germany, they have a responsibility for their country, not for another country. It's kind of like the old adage, take care of your own backyard before you try to take care of somebody else's. You can't. You have to take care of home first. And our leaders have seen that when they don't take care of the home country, their own home country, and their people and their citizens, the people will speak. And I think it's the same in Germany, in France. The elections that have taken place, you could see what's happening in Great Britain with Brexit. So America needs to take care of itself. Germany needs to take care of itself. But there are so many things that we can do to share in energy, in climate, and protection of our homelands.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to say about books or a statement you want to make?
Thank you for reminding me. My last visit to Nuremberg was in 2011, and that was to do research for a novel, The Mentor. This is a novel set in 16th century Nuremberg. It's a psychological novel about the development of a young man who he was in love with a German girl, but she was smart enough to know that he wasn't ready for that kind of relationship when he proposed to her. So by the magic of fiction, this young man was sent back 500 years. He met some of the great figures of Nuremberg history: Charles V, Hans Sachs, Hans Beheim, even the hangman of Nuremberg. And these represent archetypes of manhood: the warrior, king, magician, lover. Well, in fiction, you can make the world the way you want, and I guess this was an attempt for me to think about how life might have been, But the trip this time, the research for the book this time is going to be nonfiction and what really is. I'm finding out that it's not, the guys who marry German girls are not necessarily, it's not heaven. They have problems just like anyone else, anywhere. So maybe I'll answer my question by not knowing the answer.
Back in '72, when I was here, I, of course, took photos all over the place. And some of those photos I put online. There was a Merrell Barracks online. So I published some of those photos, and lo and behold, a very nice gentleman saw those photos and was, through another veteran, requested that those photos be used in a book. And that book became Transit Nuremberg No. 4 USA. And little did I know in 1972, when I took all kinds of photos, that they would be placed in this book. Along with my story, I became Chapter 5. And it's a good read for people that have been to Europe, and maybe they can relate to it. But little did I know back in that day that taking those pictures would result in what is happening to me today, and I'm thankful.